let's go ahead and get started. Hello, everyone. This is Drew Amoroso again, and thanks for joining us today for this week's edition of 11 at 11. I appreciate you being here or whatever beach it is that you're on. And congratulations to you for taking some time out of your busy week to work on yourself and on your workday. Today, I want to explore an idea that I think is probably one of the most powerful ideas that we have talked about to date so far on 11 at 11. And it's the concept of moving from having a mindset that's focused on competition to one that's focused on creativity. So let me just go ahead and set the stage for you here on this. I want you to just take a moment to think about how you perceive the concept of opportunity. And when I say opportunity, I want you to consider in the past or even right now, how you look at things or how you have looked at things like finding a new job that you want, getting a promotion or a raise at work, getting into the school that you may have wanted to get into, bringing in a new client, coming up for with a new idea for a business that you want to start. And if you think about how you have viewed opportunities like this, I think what we'll find is that we have all been conditioned to view these opportunities and these circumstances through the lens of competition. And we've been trained to be competitors. And what I mean by that is we tend to think that in order for us to acquire something, so the new job, the new promotion, the new spot in grad school, the new client, the new business, we have to compete for those things because there is a limited supply of the right opportunity for us, right? We have this belief that there is only so much opportunity to go around. And so when we feel like there's a limited supply or that we're constantly in competition with other people, it sets up this dynamic that impacts the way that we think, right? The way we look for opportunities and the way we pursue those opportunities is impacted because we believe that there is only so much to go around. There's a finite supply. And when we believe that there's a finite supply, then we default into a mindset that's focused on competition. But there's another way to view opportunity, and that's what I really want to focus on today. And the other way to approach it is from the perspective of someone who's a creator and who is focused on creativity. So unlike a competitor, a creator believes that there is an unlimited supply of opportunity, right? And that they have the ability to create opportunities for themselves, right? That's sort of the definition of creating something, right? You bring something new to life. So a creator doesn't look at their career or their life as having a limited amount of opportunities and doesn't believe that they have to be in competition with someone else in order to access those opportunities and live a full life. And what I want to try to convince you today is that operating with a creator's mindset is one of the most freeing things that you can do for yourself. Is sort of transition from being focused on competition to having the type of mindset that's focused on creativity. And so I want to try to show you what I mean by that by showing you just a couple of key things that will happen if you start to shift from being someone who's focused on competition to someone who's focused on creativity. And then I want to leave you with a few key takeaways on how to do that. So this first concept is that when you're a creator, you move away from believing that there is a limited supply to believing that there is an unlimited supply, right? So what do I mean by that? Think about it this way. If the source motivation for what you're pursuing or seeking is premised on the idea that you are constantly in competition with others for a limited amount of opportunities, then your ability to grow and to pursue those opportunities will be constrained by the limitations that you believe exist, okay? So let me just rephrase that. In other words, if you always believe that there is only so much opportunity to go around, then you're restricting yourself to a very limited set of circumstances in which you can live and operate, right? That mindset will keep you confined to the boundaries that you've set up and the limitations that you believe are in place. And if you believe there's only a limited supply, then it automatically triggers this sort of instinctual response that you have to compete for those opportunities, right? Like survival of the fittest, right? The person who goes out and competes and beats everyone else out is the person who will succeed. But when you believe you have to compete for something, it constricts the way you approach pursuing those opportunities. So I know this is a little heavy, so let me give you a couple of examples that I think will help to draw this out. So there's four of them I want to suggest to you as sort of like a lens that we can use to look at this. So first would be job or career opportunities. If I believe there are only so many job opportunities out there that align with what I want, then I immediately start to feel like I'm in competition with everyone else who might be seeking that job or that position or that promotion, right? So picture the last time that you applied for a job. This may have been a while ago for some of us, but how much of your thinking leading up to that was focused on how good the other candidates might be, right? Or how they might be more qualified than you, right? And when you're focused on competing with everyone else, then you end up edging out of the equation the part of yourself that allows you to stand out among those applicants, right? Or use creative ways to find the right position for you. So you're focused on other people and competing as opposed to the creation part. Second, acquiring clients. If you believe that there are only so many clients out there for you to bring in, then the source of your motivation is, how can I beat out competitors for that limited supply of clients, right? You end up being focused on competing instead of creating what I would call the right circumstances that will help you attract the right kind of clients for yourself. And it's not that you can't be aware of what other people are doing. I'm suggesting that instead of having that be sort of your primary focus, how can you bring it back to a better question, which is, how can I create the right circumstances to attract the ideal client? Third would be money. If I believe there is only so much money I can earn, then I'll feel like I'm forever in competition with other people to try to earn that money, right? That source of competition comes from the belief that there's only so much money to go around. And when I'm focused on that, then I can't be focused on ways to earn it. And then fourth would be business ideas. So if you believe that there are only so many good business ideas or product ideas, then you're constantly comparing yourself and what you've done to what other people have done, right? Instead of shifting your energy toward thinking, what new idea can I create? You stay focused on how what you create compares to something someone else is doing or has already done, right? And we can go on and on with these examples, but you get the idea. Competition narrows our focus and it really robs us of the ability to access opportunities because we set up this dynamic where we believe there are only so many of them to go around. So when we operate from the foundational belief that there isn't enough to go around, this is what happens, right? But we have to realize that this type of thinking is rooted in our conditioning to be competitive. When we set it up as us versus them, or us versus everyone, or us versus the thing, that's when we feel like there's a limited supply. Now, I'm not saying all competition is bad. There are, of course, certain dynamics where measuring yourself against someone else or competing against someone else can be helpful, or where competition is the end outcome that you're striving for. So if I'm running a race against someone, the whole reason we're running a race is to compete with one another. But what I am saying is that in the examples that I gave you, the idea of competition itself is not why you're pursuing those things. If I'm trying to stand out among 50 job applicants, or if I want the promotion, or if I want to get a new client, will focusing on competition versus focusing on creativity allow me to be the best version of myself as I pursue those opportunities, right? So in circumstances where we're competing, we just have to be aware of how it limits our focus and narrows the amount of opportunity that we're able to access. So how do we flip this for ourselves? How do we start to move from looking at everything as competitive to focusing on being creative? First, I want you to hone in on one opportunity that you want for yourself, where you believe that you've been operating from a place of competition and where you believe that a creative mindset would suit you better, right? So just think about a circumstance that you're in right now where you feel like you're in competition with someone or everyone for that particular thing. Second, I want you to ask the question, what can I do to move from focusing on competition to focusing on being a creator or creativity? Remember that when you enter a competitive mindset, it pits you versus everyone. And when you do that, it has the potential to edge who you really are out of the equation, right? It prevents you from putting your best self forward. So what are the things that help you draw your focus back toward creating a new way of thinking about an opportunity, right? What are the things that help you stand out? What are the things that help you be the best version of yourself as you're pursuing this opportunity, right? Draw it back towards focusing on you. And then third, and finally, just remember that there are an infinite number of opportunities. It's the hardest thing to understand and believe. Sometimes it takes years or a lifetime to understand this, but we can make incremental progress toward believing this. The reason it's so hard is because we get caught up in thinking at this microscopic level, because that's really where we live each day, is in the details. And so we only see certain kinds of opportunities that are right in front of us. But I want to encourage you to try on for size the idea that you're not limited to a narrow set of circumstances that you may have been using to view your work world or your personal world to this point. Each of us has the innate ability to create situations or opportunities on our own and for ourselves. We have the ability to do that. It's not how we've been trained to think, but that is inside of us. Okay. Before we sign off for today, does anyone have an example of a situation or an opportunity where you think you may have been focusing on competition instead of creativity that you may want to share? Anything that's come up for you or that's top of mind as you're thinking about an opportunity that you want to pursue? Great. Awesome. Well, thank you for the shares today. Appreciate that. We will leave it there for today. Over this week, think about this concept. Try to catch yourself focusing on when you're focused on what others are doing, right? And reroute those thoughts back to how you can really be more creative. Thanks again for joining. Would love to connect with you and get your help spreading the word about this series. If you could share it with a friend or give us a shout out on social media, that would be awesome. I've got all of our tags up here on the screen. Our next episode is not next Monday, but the following Monday, because next Monday is Labor Day. So your workday mindset assignment for Labor Day is to not work. But on Monday, September 14th, we're going to take a look at a really important, powerful concept, which is looking at challenges from the perspective of what your future self would tell you about how you overcame that challenge. Really awesome exercise that I think has the potential to help you day to day a lot with challenges that you face. It's going to be a great topic. Okay, I'll look forward to diving into that with you on September 14th. I will see you then. Go have a great workday, everybody. Thanks for joining.
Thanks, Drew. Have a good week.
You got it.
Bye,
Thanks, Amy.
Roxanne.
Bye. Great. Thanks so much.
Bye.